Missouri is up next. Is this the final test for Hugh Freeze and whether his offense can work at Auburn? Midweek Report brought to you by our friends at the Rage Room. If you're in the Opelika area or if you're in Birmingham and you're looking to get some rage out after what happened on Saturday, the Rage Room is the place for you. If you're in Opelika, 1510 2nd Ave. If you're in Birmingham, 2616 7th Ave South. Bust some windshields, break some baby car seats, throw some paint on the wall. It's a really, really unique time. Really great for team building as well, too. Let them know that the War Rapport sits you when you get to the front counter. They'll take care of you there. This segment is also brought to you by our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop potentially has something that has you covered. If you've got some traditional ailments that could require some non-traditional remedies, well, the Rogue Shop is your spot. Our guy Richard, longtime sponsor of the show. We appreciate him for sponsoring this segment. Go check him out. He's dropping a little something extra for everybody using code REPORT today. I want to thank our friends at Abel's, Iannone, Moore and Associates. If you're a small business owner, you have a lot on your plate. Growing the business, taking care of employees, and usually what suffers the most are your personal assets. At Abel's, Iannone, Moore and Associates, their fiduciary advisors are a resource for business owners to make sure that their personal assets are getting the same required attention they give their business every day. Call AIMA at 912-777-4128. Scan the QR code on the screen or visit AIMA.com to schedule your initial consultation today. The War Rapport has been compensated by Abel's, Iannone, Moore and Associates for this endorsement. AIMA is a registered SEC investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Again, call AIMA today to get started. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment. I want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. If you're in the Columbus, Phoenix City area and you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, visit the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. Not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. Do us a favor, guys. Join as a patron. Your support helps keep the work that we're doing here going. We appreciate all our patron members. $5.99 a month. Ike is at an exhibition basketball game tonight right now. So your financial support helps keep him on the road as we cover Auburn sports like no other. Again, sign up, hit that join button today, whether you're a patron or a supporter. We appreciate all the support we get here from you guys. Last but certainly not least, I want to thank our friends at Sky Tobacco and Vape. The need a smoke shop that's always close by. Sky Tobacco and Vape has you covered all over Columbus and even across the bridge in Phoenix City, whether you're cruising down Airport Thruway, rolling along Victory Drive, or making a pit stop on the 280 bypass. They've got a spot ready for you, from vapes to tobacco and everything in between. Sky Tobacco and Vape is your one-stop shop for good vibes and great deals. Swing through today. Chances are they're already on your way. Let's jump into the conversation. Filling in for Ike is my good friend Philip Dukes, aka Dukes the Scoop, to talk a little Auburn football on a Wednesday night. Roll on in here, guys. Drop your comments. We are going to have a hell of a discussion today about what Auburn football is. This has been crazy, like 96 hours since Saturday.
Absolutely. Got a little drama, a little jobber, huh? Just Auburn being Auburn.
It has been a little drama. Everything from after the loss, a bizarre, I thought, post-game press conference.
Hugh
Freeze was a little snappy with my question after the game, and then I got a call from him.
Oh wow! Okay.
On Monday, wanted to clarify his comments after Damari Alston quit. According to some people, I don't like the word quit, but it was a word that was being thrown around there. and a statement was made. I'm gonna get your thoughts on that tonight because I always appreciate your perspective. You're close to players, in the same vein that we are. So I think you've got important perspective there. And Dukes, the question is this the final test for this Auburn offense this season? I think we can all agree that the defense has played well, but this offense is going up against probably the best defense in the league by the numbers today. And it's going to be a formidable test for the offense that has struggled to move the ball at times. How do you see this playing out? The bottom is so low for Auburn offensively. It feels like they could go a whole game and not score a touchdown. Like that's the floor for this offense.
It feels like that because of that's how it looks. We've seen it, and we aren't blind. We do see the product that's been put on the field so far. When you talk about 17 points, 10 points, and 10 points, that doesn't sound like championship football or even winning football. It doesn't sound like bowl eligible football. And at this point, when you have so many weapons offensively, when you think about the investment that's been made in that offense, I can probably find you $4 million in 4 players. That's a ton of money. So the result, the return, the ROI, the return on investment hasn't been there, but you do have the potential. I liken it to, let's say we work in a warehouse and we buy $1 million sorter where you're just sorting packages. You got $1 million sorter, but you're not filling it up with packages.
Yeah.
So you got the $1 million equipment, but you aren't using it efficiently. And I think that's kind of where Auburn is right now. Can you find out a way to use the equipment that you have, the tools that you have efficiently? I think we saw half of it against Georgia. I don't think there was a better offense in the country the first half against Georgia. I think that was the best offense in the country. You ran the ball, you threw the ball, the timing was right, you had pace, you were able to sustain drives. It was an amazing looking offense that once you fumbled, it was over. And I think that's part of it. Like, understanding where to put people and will they execute once you put them in that place and find out if they're the guy for that job. And right now, we just don't know. We have no proof of concept of this being a dominant offense, even though you have dominant players. So with that being said, it does feel like this is the make or break week. It does feel like if it doesn't get done this week, will it ever get done? And now I'm starting, and before I was just kind of like, it's a matter of time. Well, time has gone by. It's starting to get cold outside. There's been plenty of time, and this is year 2 of the Freeze 5. And right now, you would be expecting to see great numbers from a Cam Coleman, from a Perry Thompson, from a Bryce Kane, from a Malcolm Simmons, from a Eric Singleton, who you added to that 5. And now we're just a Freeze 4, excuse me. But I guess it's the 5 now when you add Eric Singleton. So yeah, man, I think this is the week. If it doesn't happen this week, I would really, if the offense doesn't score this week, and especially if you don't score and the defense makes it a winnable game, I'm not sure what happens on Sunday.
There are no more moral victories here, right? Like it's literally just win. There's no more, oh, that was close or that was a pretty loss. It's really just win at this point in your mind, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, how often can you say it? And it's not, I've never been a person who was a go after a guy's job type of guy or this coach needs to be fired. And I still won't be. But I have to call a spade, and that spade that I'm reading is that if you don't, when you cannot just continue to keep saying we're close, we're almost there. When do you arrive? When you have the talent. I'd venture to say that this is probably still the best wide receiver core in the SEC. And they're probably in the bottom 5. I don't know, but I would say passing offense with these type of receivers, you're probably in the bottom quarter of, or if not 5th, if not 10th in the SEC. I'm not sure how much worse it could get. So yeah, it's tough, dog.
Yeah, this is a really difficult situation to be in. at the midpoint of year 3. This wide receiver core, you mentioned it, what the best in the conference.
For sure.
I mean, from a talent perspective, they are the best in the conference. And just underutilized. I was happy to see Perry Thompson out there getting some burn on Saturday. That was really encouraging. It just has not resulted in in what we would like to see. Dukes, to talk to me about what could Hugh Freeze change at this point that would make a significant change in result? What could he change? I mean, because he doesn't seem very willing to want to change his quarterback. I don't think Jackson Arnold is the problem with the offense, but sometimes when you're looking for a spark, you just make a change to see if it might result in something. Would it be reasonable to try to change quarterbacks? Could you go to Dukes at this point, or like is Ashton Daniels the next guy up? Like what could he change? Because he damn sure seemed like he's not willing to change coaches. I thought somebody'd be fired after Texas A&M.
Yeah, I kind of like that he didn't fire anybody, because me personally, I feel like sometimes you fire position coaches, that's kind of like a scapegoat type move, where it's like, hey, look, you were in here this whole time. You were in here with the game plan. If I don't really feel that so much as I do, when are you gonna look in the mirror and say, did I call this right? Did I evaluate this right? Is this the right guy doing this job? Did I put this team in the best position to win when I called this play for this person? Was my timing right? And I think Coach Freeze really did a lot of soul searching on the bye week, and you come out and you could tell with the opening script against Georgia, that was peak Auburn football, in my opinion. It felt good. It looked good. The crowd was excited. And from that point on, we didn't see it again. I think you have to have I don't see a lot of play action. And I think that's one thing that could help Auburn, but you have to run the ball to make play action really. And there's a ton of RPO, right? We get it. I think a couple of changes that could be made is less RPO and more RO, run option. Take the option to pass away. Don't take the decision making away from Jackson Arnold. Just tell him, listen, he's going to be up. Scheme it open. I would like to see his offense look more like 2023 Liberty, where Caden Salter had CJ Daniels, who's going crazy at Miami right now, and they were throwing to a spot. This is going to be open. We're going to, you fake the run here. You basically told Caden what to do in so many spots, and I think that's where the offense, even it may not be what you want when you feel that you have a quarterback that can process. But right now, it's like he's over processing. Take some off of his plate by running the ball, putting him in more favorable situations, running some play action, some more misdirection. Do some things before the snap that allow your quarterback to be better and to think less. And I think if those changes, and this is me just guessing, this is me spitballing right here for the question, those are some changes that I can see from a high-level perspective, from a 50,000-foot level, that may be able to switch the fortunes of this offense.
Yeah. Look, it's crazy that we're here, and this is the conversation we're having. Heading into Missouri, a home game for Auburn. Fortunately, I think, but a win buys you some time if you're Hugh Freeze, and I don't think at this point it matters how you win it. You just got to win it. At this point, I mean, we're into desperation mode. You cannot start 0-4 in SEC play.
Yeah, that sounds crazy, don't it?
Yeah.
It sounds crazy.
Yeah. You can't say 0-4 SEC play. I don't care how good the opponents were. I mean, these are all ranked matchups. I mean, 4 straight ranked matchups to start your conference schedule, and you lose all of them. I mean, you're essentially telling the world we can't win a big game. We can't win a game that matters.
We can't win a conference game.
Yeah, right. Here's the schedule, Dukes. Again, you opened up with the big win at Baylor, dominant win at Baylor. You got 2 cream puffs, and the assignment was get one of the first 3 SEC games to finish your first 6-game stretch. Oklahoma was stolen.
Right.
Texas A&M, you just crapped the bed offensively, and then Georgia, more tomfoolery by the refs, but also, 40-some yards of offense in the second half is just not going to get it done. So after that, Missouri, the game we got coming that we'll talk more about here, is better than expected. Arkansas fired Sam Pittman midseason, and you and I are very familiar with Bobby Petrino. Kentucky, still the worst team in the SEC. Vanderbilt, better than expected. Mercer is a dub. Alabama, this could be one of the stranger Iron Bowls, I think, in history. But, man, if you go 3-3 over this back half, that only gets you to 6-6 on the season. For the amount of talent on this roster, that's crazy.
Yeah. I
6-6
mean,
is a crazy result with this talent.
That's not up to par with that roster. I said this earlier. I would venture to say that this is a $25 million roster. You look at Arkansas, who was reported to have a $17 million roster, 16, 17 million. And there were some sources that came out and kind of said, confirmed that. So I would think that Auburn, if I could name 4 players that are around $4 million, I would say this is about a $25 million roster. This is not $25 million worth of results. 3-3, 6-6. You don't spend that type of money to go 6-6.
Who are you? Who are your high? It's Cam Coleman.
Cam Coleman and E. Singleton, they said are $1 million and $1 million. Jackson Arnold's got to be a little over $1 million. And I would say Xavier Chaplin would be close to $1 million.
I would probably say that even though he's not playing, Deuce probably just somewhere between a quarter, 3/4 of $1 million and $1 million.
For sure.
Right. So as a top 50 overall player coming out of high school, right? He was commanding that. One of the highest rated recruits in Auburn history.
5-star quarterback is $700,000 bottom line.
Bottom line. Yeah. Right. So you're right. I mean, just when you name all the players on that 3/4 are up, I mean, you've got a lot of players of that caliber. And the results certainly have not matched. If you're watching on YouTube, it's being reported that there's some sort of outage, Dukes, on YouTube right now. So if your feed is choppy right now, we apologize. It is not us. It is YouTube having some sort of issue right now. I noticed that the numbers look a little weak coming in here. It seems like people are jumping in and out, but we're going to keep going. Mizzou represents a very stiff defensive challenge for this offense. If you're Hugh Freeze, you've got to dial something up. Now, you're down a running back. You're down a healthy running back, apparently, and Damari Alston. If you have not caught up with the news of the weekend was that Damari Alston asked to redshirt, and that was a situation that the program did not want to accept, which is their prerogative. So he was subsequently dismissed from the team. That is my understanding, right? Is that he wanted to take a red shirt, but practice and do all the things that you do when you're on the team, but you're redshirting. And they said no thank you to that. Hugh Freeze made a statement that said that he did not live up to the standards and expectations of the program. That wording left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, as it should. I mean, that's what you say when there's an incident, but you don't want to say what the incident is. I can't stress enough, at this level, you can't make those kinds of mistakes in terms of messaging. So I'm not giving him an out there. I appreciate him calling me Monday, Dukes, to try to clear the air and say, hey, I did not intend to say this. And the very frank conversation we had was, I get what you didn't intend, but the effect is the same. And he said,
and you know what? But shout out to Coach Freeze for calling, because that's what men do. Men, you make a mistake, you call and say, you clarify. And he chose somebody that was, a member of Auburn, somebody respected in the media space. And he called you and clarified. And I think he also clarified that on Tiger Talk after he talked to you. So that's what men do, right? You clarify, you make a mistake, and you clarify from that point. But, the accountability, and that's something that's I think accountability is something that people have had an issue with when it comes to his reign, or not reign, but his tenure It's like sometimes it seems like he may be throwing a player under the bus, or sometimes it seems like he's throwing it. Like the other night, he said something about defensive execution, and people were like, "Bro, if it wasn't for the defense, you wouldn't even be in the game, right?" So I think sometimes it's just, and he's paid to be a coach, not a journalist or a wordsmith or orator. So I think he's got to figure out a way to say things in a better way. And I think there may have been some emotions there too with the whole Damari thing, right? I think the way that the way he was asked at the time may have led to some emotion, but at the end of the day, you gotta call a spade a spade. It sounded like you left so much to interpretation for a kid who didn't deserve that. Whether you feel like he quit or not, he didn't deserve. Like even if he did quit, that's like a 30-year associate quitting his job one day and you forget about all 30 years, right? What have you done for me lately in the very sense of the word? So, and that's not what people talk about in Auburn, and that's not what people say in the Creed, and that's not how Auburn people really feel about Auburn and why Auburn is such a special place. So that wasn't representative of the Creed or anything else. And they say, oh well, he quit. Bro, listen, man trying to get a job. You feel me? So at the end of the day, I get it I get it on both sides. And it's the business of college football at this point, right? Just like how we talked about a $25 million roster. Well, if Hugh Freeze doesn't keep his job, he's got a ton of money that's coming his way. If he gets fired, let's say he does, Lord forbid, but let's say Hugh Freeze does lose his job after Missouri. He's getting $16 million to walk away. If Damari Alston doesn't get filmed, he doesn't get, this is his biggest payday ever. So I think that's where it comes down to the business of college football. Some people hate it. Some people like it. I'm indifferent. I just felt like that could have been handled a different way on the podium, and I'm glad Coach Freeze got with you to clarify it.
Yeah, look, I told him that I appreciated the call.
For sure.
And that was stressed. I always appreciate when a coach reaches out. He's not the first head coach or something at Auburn to reach out to me to clarify their stance on something or something that's going on in the media where they want the right message to be out there. And sometimes it's easier to just reach out directly to people like you and me and say, hey, I know that you guys have a direct line to the fan base. Can you help me send this message? Right. It doesn't mean we're carrying water for them. It just means that, look, if you it's up to you to judge whether you believe what they're saying or not. Right. Yeah. So like all I can do is send the message and say, hey, this is what he said his intent was when he made the statement. Now, a lot of times these statements are written for them, and the people writing the statements are not always in touch with the reality of how those words affect the people involved. So if you're Hugh Freeze, you got to be able to read that statement and be like, I can't say this. Like, I'm not saying this. Or it would have been better, I think, in some ways, maybe to just say nothing at all. So, it's the report. I don't blame the reporter for asking the question. It was breaking as I was headed to the Monday press conference, Dukes. So to me, it was a little bit too rumory to ask so soon. But it was the first question asked at the conference, and when it came out, I was like, "Wow, okay, we're going there." And he answered it, but then they kept asking. He was asked, I think, 3 or 4 times to clarify what is his status with the program. And I don't have a problem with them asking, because once the cat was out of the bag, he gave kind of like a non-answer on Damari, right? And so it was just kind of like, hey, when things happen, instead of just saying, no, he's not with the program anymore. And the last question was literally, so Damari is gone. And he said, yes, he is gone. That's that verbatim. So now that he's gone, what's left is Jeremiah Cobb and Omar Mapson at the 1 and the 2 respectively. Do you think that's going to be enough? Like Damari himself told me that Omar is good, that he is a really, really good and talented running back. You think they can get it done versus this salty Missouri defense with Omar and Jeremiah?
I think one of the things that people miss with Damari Alston is how good he was in pass protection. And that's where Missouri is really good at getting after you with 4. When you look at Damon Wilson, transfer from Georgia, I think he has 5.5 sacks already, a ton of pressures. He looks to be a first-round pick. Darius Smith also came from Georgia. They sent a bunch of guys at you. And they also blitz. So they do a lot off the edge. So you need somebody to be able to chip. And I think that's where you miss. I think Omar Matson can do a lot in the run game. He really can. But I think where he's going to have to grow up fast is going to be in pass protection. And when you have a guy like Jeremiah Cobb who can he does a lot really well. He's been really toting the mail this year. Is he fully healthy, right? And does he have the same pass protection chops as a Damari Austin? So I think pass protection is where you miss him the most. I think you can make up the rushing yardage between those two, but I think pass protection, do you bring in an extra tight end to put him in the backfield on third downs, on obvious passing downs? But if you do have to do something like that to compensate for the pass protection out of the backfield, now you've made yourself a little less dimensional. You've made yourself kind of one-dimensional because the threat of the run goes away when you put a tight end in the backfield. So we'll see how they play that one, but I think that's where you missed Damari. But I think as far as running the ball goes, I think you'll be fine with Cobb and Matson.
Yeah, what kind of day do you expect from Jeremiah Cobb? I mean, look, there have not been a ton of carries to go around for the running backs. And as a matter of fact, so like on Saturday night, when you look at the division of rushes, Jackson Arnold, 13 rush attempts. Jeremiah had 12. Damari had 7. Singleton had 2. Malcolm Simmons had 1. But week in and week out, it's Jackson Arnold that's leading everyone in rush attempts. And I'm taking issue with it because it's not resulting in wins.
Right.
Yeah, he's a great runner, but like I don't know that he needs to be leading the team in rush attempts every single game since SEC play started. You've got to get the ball to the running backs. Do you think Jeremiah can tote the rock 20 times a game?
Yeah, he can. I don't think he shouldn't have to, but he can. I think you got help. I think they have packages for Malcolm Simmons and Eric Singleton in the backfield. I think that can help you. I think you see more Eric Singleton in the backfield this week. I think you see more Malcolm Simmons. I think you see more jet sweeps. I think that's what makes this offense dangerous, when you're able to attack the perimeter and make sure that those edge rushers stay home. Because when you talk about teams that are really explosive off the edge, they have to set the edge as well. When you threaten the edge with speed, with jet sweeps and speed outs and bubble screens and tunnel screens, that's what that's what makes those edge rushers have to put the brakes on. So if you can do that and keep the edge rushers home, then you can attack the perimeter with a guy like Jeremiah Cobb and make that defensive end make a decision. And I think Jackson Arnold should give it more. You know, he does. He is an RPO system, and he'll and like I said, I think the RPO, if you make it more RRO, where it's like, listen, you don't even have the option to pass. You read this in and give it to Cobb, or you take it. But that's it. But give it to Cobb. That's your A. Only give it. Don't only run it if you see everybody crash. And I think that's when you put more of the onus on the offensive line and running behind your stars. Like go behind the guys that move people. So I do think that there is a way for this run game to be successful without Jackson Arnold leading it. But if he does lead it, it needs to be in wide open scenarios where you've schemed it so well that when you call this, he's not having to make a close call. He's running through a wide open lane. And I think that's what's going to be important for this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what the division of run versus pass is in this one. Can Auburn stick to the run and protect the football on the ground here against Missouri? I'm telling you, looking at some of the numbers from the Georgia game, as you mentioned, the first half of that game, if they score that touchdown at the end and Jackson Arnold doesn't fumble the ball, that is almost as perfect the first half as you could have hoped for, I think, where you scored on all but one of your drives. You controlled the clock. You kept the ball out of Gunnar Stockton's hands. You just did not allow them a chance to get in any kind of offensive rhythm. In the first half of that game, I think they gave up maybe 78 yards of total offense to Georgia in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible offensive and defensive performance, minus again, like I said, a really bad call by the ref there at the end. At halftime, John Cohen was seen on the field. John with the refs, an Incredible sight. Just kind of, I think encompassing
Feisty
the
guy.
frustrated.
I've never
Yeah.
seen him. That's the maddest I've ever seen him. Like every time I see him, he moves like the president. So he's not like fiery at all. It's like very cool, very calm. He's not saying a whole lot. He's got I remember I saw, I think Antonio, who went to school with us, was like his personal policeman when we used to see him. So it was and he's quiet too. So it was just like a very quiet guy. When I saw him be that fiery on the sideline, I said, yeah, somebody's talking to them.
Yeah.
This means something for sure.
I did ask Hugh Freeze on Monday. I asked him, I said, hey, have you had any further discussions with the league, Dukes, about, the calls and how some of these calls have gone against you? And he did say he had a talk with Commissioner Sankey and the SEC head of officials. Now, I'm not sure they agree on everything, but there seemed to be at least some sort of mutual acknowledgement that a lot of these calls that have gone against Auburn have been wrong.
Yeah.
So right now, you're not good enough to fight the battles you're fighting on the field and the refs. They have got to get this right, man. I'm telling you, Auburn cannot have a fourth game straight where we're sitting here talking about how the refs made some super egregious call. I mean, it's been every game in SEC play so far, and hopefully they can get that right. But look, we're gonna get to the second half of the show here, and in the second half, we're gonna give our predictions on how this is going to go. I hate that we have to make predictions, Dukes, but we got to make them. That's part of the business. You are watching the Midweek Report. Do us a favor, share this video on social media at the War Rapport. Use hashtag Get Your Weight Up so they know that you are watching the War Rapport. Hit like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, guys. We appreciate your support. Help the algorithm, help us by making sure you smash that like button. There are 146 of you in here right now. It should be 146 likes at this moment. Check us out on X and Instagram at the War Rapport, TW Rapport on TikTok. We're going to get to the break, pay some bills, and when we come back, we're going to get to your comments, and we're going to give some predictions on Auburn, Missouri this weekend. This is the Midweek Report.
This edition of the War Report is brought to you by our generous sponsors. Golden's Cast Iron. Whether you work out, grill out, or chill out, you deserve the best life possible, and Golden's Cast Iron is here to provide the tools to help you do it. Check them out at goldenscastiron.com.
The Rage Room. The Rage Room is a place where anger and stress find their ultimate release. Set up a session today at one of the two great locations in Opelika or Birmingham by visiting opelikaRageRoom.com or BirminghamRageRoom.com.
As always, this segment is brought to you by our friends at the Rage Room, our title sponsor. If you're in the Opelika area, 1510 2nd Ave. If you're in Birmingham, 2616 7th Ave South. Break some windshields, bust up some car seats. If you've never hit a windshield with a baseball bat, oddly satisfying. You can do that at the Rage Room. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment. They also have axe throwing. So if that is your particular steez, the Rage Room has you covered. I want to thank our friends at Golden's Cast Iron. I'm sorry, not Golden's Cast Iron, at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. If you've got some traditional ailments that could require some non-traditional remedies, well, the Rogue Shop could be your place. Our guy Richard, longtime sponsor of the show. Stop on by and use code REPORT today to make sure that you get your Golden's Cast Iron product. I want to thank our friends at Sky Tobacco and Vape. Need a smoke shop that's always close by. Sky Tobacco and Vape has you covered all over Columbus and even across the bridge in Phoenix City. Whether you're cruising down Airport Thruway, rolling along Victory Drive, or making a pit stop on the bypass, they've got a spot ready for you. From vapes to tobacco and everything in between, Sky Tobacco and Vape is your one-stop shop for good vibes and great deals. Swing through today. Chances are they're already on your way. I want to thank our friends at AIMA. That's Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates. Running a business means investing in everyone else, but who's investing in you? Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates help small businesses owners manage excess cash, build retirement plans, and create investment strategies that make their money work beyond the business. There's no minimum to start, and your initial review is complimentary. Call AIMA at 912-777-4128. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit AIMAINC.com to see how fiduciary guidance can help your business grow after closing time. The War Rapport has been compensated by Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates for this endorsement. AIMA is a SEC registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Check us out on podcast, all the podcast platforms. We are there with the Auburn Express Uptempo College Loop, Just a Sec, and the War Rapport gaming channel. We are growing on audio. We have crazy growth on audio so far this season. That's all thanks to you guys. So please subscribe, download, turn on automatic downloads and alerts for us on whatever podcast platform you subscribe on. We appreciate you guys for doing that as well too. Last but certainly not least, check out our merch store at thewarreport.com, where you can find all of our gear as well as our written work at thewarreport.com. Get your weight up today at thewarreport.com. Let's get to some comments here, Dukes, before we jump back into our conversation. Dwayne with the super chat said Damari was getting 2 carries a game. I understand why he made the decision. I understand, Coach, but if you go anyone a pass, it's a player who was super loyal, could have been transferred. Yeah, he could have been out of here.
For sure. Yeah, he said he's going to get anybody a pass, give him one.
Yeah, right.
You're right. That's what I was saying. Like, yeah, that's kind of what I said. Like, man, come on now. He one of them. Like, you got to really help. So you would want to be a little better about that, speaking about a guy who had been so good to the program and good for the program over the years. But, people make mistakes. We'll leave it at that.
Source close to the situation told me that in the internal discussion, there was 1 or 2 coaches that stood up to remind everybody that this is a 21-year-old kid and that, like, everybody is, just trying to navigate life and doing what he feels like is best for him, and to make sure that everyone has the grace that he gets, getting the grace he deserves. And so I like that. I like that there was a voice in the room kind of standing up for Damari in a sense and saying, hey, look, we should have some grace for him. Anthony Long says the Auburn offense is ranked 15th in the SEC. Jackson Arnold is ranked as the 18th best QB in the SEC. How do we expect to beat Missouri? This is a fair question, because he can't be the 8th. The answer is he can't be the 18th best QB Saturday.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be better than the 18th best QB on Saturday, or your defense is practically going to have to pitch a shutout, which is so unfair. It's unfair to them to ask perfection. I don't handle criticisms of this defense this year very well, Dukes.
No, not at all, man. Then some of the guys, like, when you think about the contributions you've gotten from a Jared Smith, you think about Sylvester Smith, who's come up big in run situations playing at the nickel. You talk about Champ Anthony coming back from injury. You talk about Debo Atkins, Xavier Atkins, who's probably been the star of the defense. And if he's not if he hasn't been your best guy on defense, then Keyron Crawford has. So I just think their name, and we haven't even gotten to Keldrick Falk, who as recently as today on ESPN, one of the mock drafts has him as the number 4 overall pick. So this defense is loaded. You got Jay Crawford on one side, Cam Lee on the other side. There's a lot to like about this defense, these defenders, and how DJ Durkin is deploying them. So yeah, it's not a whole lot. You can add 24 points against. I mean, that's the most you're giving up all season, right?
That's it.
Yeah, no, man. and then guess what? Against Oklahoma, Cam Lee scored a touchdown that was called back, and then and Debo Atkins basically gave you a touchdown against Texas A&M. So they helping you as much as possible. I mean, what else do you want from the defense?
You gave up 24 points to Baylor, 3 points to Ball State, 15 points to South Alabama, 24 points to Oklahoma, 16 points to Texas A&M, and only 20 points to Georgia. That's it. That's what this defense is doing right now. That is salty. So, if you average 24 points a game in conference play, you're undefeated.
For sure.
I mean,
guess what? If you average 24 points a game, you wouldn't need to average 24 points a game because they wouldn't be scoring 24.
Correct. Yeah, there's a causality. You're right.
And if you look at the Georgia Auburn game, is a tale of two halves. When when the defense was well rested and the offense was holding the ball, then it was the exact opposite effect that it had in the second half. The longer the defense had to be on the field, the longer the drives got for Georgia's offense. When they came out and they got that stop, first 3 and out, boom. You give the offense the ball in great field position and you do nothing with it. That's a backbreaker.
It is. Appreciate the super chat, Anthony. Along, we're going to continue through these super chats. Dwayne comes back with the $4.99 super chat. Says first half of Georgia equals do that our equals identity. When they adjust, you adjust. You have a backup plan.
Boom.
Right?
Game of adjustments, right? Punch and counter punch.
Yeah.
Like Mike Tyson said, man, everybody got a plan until you what? Get punched in the mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
You knew that they were going to adjust.
For sure.
And I tweeted this out during the game. I was like, hey, listen, that was a great first half by Auburn. Georgia is no doubt going to adjust. Can't wait to see how Auburn is prepared for the adjustments that you know are coming.
Right.
You don't win you don't win back-to-back national championships the way Kirby has and keep your team in the conversation year in and year out. And think about it. Since 2017, they've played for 3 national titles.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't stay in that conversation consistently for a decade if you can't make adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to say it, dude. Auburn has got to find a combination of coaches that can make the sort of adjustments that keep you in games. Anthony, along with another $4.99 super chat, Coach Hugh Freeze is driven by his emotions. W saw that after the goal line play with Damari situation. His clarification statement is horse poop, in my opinion. I look, man. I think that it's all being emotional about certain things is understandable, especially with the way that Auburn has lost some of these games. The thing on it's so comical at this point, right? Like when you see what they did with Georgia in the timeout, Dukes, they essentially just gave them a do-over. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff.
You never seen nobody clap like this? Round of applause.
Yeah. And then to say, oops, my bad. No, that was a delay of game is what that was.
Yeah,
they get the penalty. You don't give them a do-over, though.
Right.
That's absolutely insane that they got a do-over. I'm telling you, I understand him losing his mind over stuff like that. So, but at the end of the day, man, that had nothing to do with you coming out and putting up 40 yards of offense in the second half.
Boom.
So those two things can be true at one time. Steph Trail with the 49 super chase says, if we lose another game for the Iron Bowl, we need to go get Urban. We are too talented for excuses. I don't know about Urban Meyer, but if you lose, and the next loss is really going to, especially if it's Missouri, because that puts you under 500, right? I don't know. Before we move on, let me just make sure. I just want to pull this up here because when we talk about the schedule, again, Missouri, which one of these losses in the next 6 are going to feel good? None of them. You definitely cannot lose to Arkansas or Kentucky or Mercer. So, a loss to Arkansas, and I don't even know if he should make it back to his office. He should take a commercial flight back.
Man, I don't know, dog. It's yeah. It's hard. I'm always like, oh man, try to give people the benefit of the doubt. And I don't want the man to lose his job, but man, oh man, you can't. I tell you what, a lot of that goodwill that he still has left is gonna go away if they go out there, if they go put up another 10 points at home. That's just the truth.
Yeah.
You can't go out there and put up another 10. You really need to go put up about 30 points this weekend to get the goodwill back, to be honest. Yeah. Offensively.
Yeah, it's tough. This is really tough. Chris with the $4.99 super chat says Freeze said that if Jackson struggles, he's going to play Daniels. Did he say that on Tiger Talk?
I think I heard that too.
Okay, all right. I did not hear that. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You talked about like scapegoating. You like how they didn't fire any coaches because you don't like It's like scapegoating. I don't like scapegoating players. I think that the problems. I think there's a system that fits what Jackson does well that can still allow Auburn to win games. I just don't think they're doing it. And I don't know that Ashton Daniels solves the play calling issues or the scheme issues or, if you need Cam Newton, recruit Cam Newton every year. And what I mean by that is like Cam it just didn't matter. You put him out there, he was just going to make it work. He was that good. So it could be a bad play, and he can get you in and out of bad plays with his athleticism. And he was so good that you knew what he was going to do, and you still couldn't stop it. If you need that guy, go get that guy. But you knew that Jackson Arnold wasn't, if it's busted, I could save it no matter how busted it is type player. So you need the system to do its part of the lifting, and it just hasn't at this point. Felix the Cat says, I hope the offense takes a step forward just to help the mood of the team, mainly to keep them in better spirits.
That's fair.
Yeah, I do too. I think I want them to take a step forward, but also I just don't think it's going to matter if you lose.
Yeah, you gotta win. They need this win. This is a win, and they're very capable of winning this game. You gotta win. You need to win this game.
Yeah. Orko says Kirby is a slime ball. I remember a game last year where the refs let him call a timeout after the other team snapped the ball. It's getting comical at some point, man. It is really getting comical. So hopefully what we have a better conversation after Saturday. I wanted to see this coach do it.
Yeah.
I really wanted to see this coach do it, which takes us to the part of the show where we talk about how this plays out on Saturday. If you're Auburn, you've got to start fast and you've got to play from the front in this one. They did that for the most part, but you've got to avoid the blunder, whatever the blunder is going to be. The SEC has to get it right. Like, they cannot have another game involving Auburn where they're literally taking points off the board for Auburn. But you've got to play well enough that those things don't matter. And I think that if you're Auburn, this team doesn't play well from behind, Dukes. They need to be up a couple scores at least at halftime. And then we'll see how it goes in the second half. I think Missouri is going to do a really good job adjusting as well. This is a game I thought they should have won last year. And I think Auburn wins Saturday. But I don't think it's comfortable.
Nah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's tough because Missouri they play that ball control offense too. They can throw it. They can throw it as well, but their tight end, I think like a 6'6" tight end. Like the way they run it, they run that stretch. They got the leading rusher in Power 4 football in Hardy. Nobody has more yards in Power 4 football, leading the SEC, of course. And the way they run that stretch, and they get their offensive linemen in space. This is something. The way they run it is something that Auburn hasn't seen yet this year. They try to neutralize your line, like they neutralize your edge rush and your linebackers running in space by putting them against guards, and they pull really well. So I think this is where they talk about styles making fights, and this is one of those awkward fights for Auburn. Georgia's more straight ahead, and they Auburn can withstand. Auburn was able to withstand that, but when you play with a lot of girth in the inside, and Missouri wants to take you outside, they want to run that stretch. They want you to run with us. You got guys that can run, and now You have to be careful when you've got an explosive defense. Guys can overrun, and that's what Missouri takes. Hardy is so good with those cutback lanes, and that's what they like to take advantage of. So I think it's going to be important for DJ Durkin to get his guys to be gap sound. I think they will be now. I expect Xavier Atkins to have about 50 million tackles this game, and I believe that. But what it does is it puts pressure on the offense to score when they get it, because you don't know when you'll get it again. And so with that being said, I think this is a low scoring game. I'm gonna go Auburn 24. If Auburn finally gets 24, Missouri 21. They get that 3 really late in the game after a big play, after a turnover on defense. I'll go Auburn 24-21. I don't feel super confident in it, but that's what I'll go with.
Okay. All right. The ESPN matchup predictor giving Auburn a 46.5% chance to win the game.
That just flipped, right? Earlier in the week, it was Auburn.
Yeah, it was Auburn was favored to Auburn 2.5. It opened at, and now it is Missouri 1.5. So a coin flip essentially in this game here for Missouri. But I don't. They set the over-under at 43.5, which means they expect this to be a relatively low-scoring game in the low 20s to high teens. And I don't know, man. It's crazy Auburn not being favored at home in this one with the amount of talent they have. But at some point, Vegas accounting for the types of things that have happened to Auburn over the first few games. Give me some. Let's go over under on some totals here. Over under Auburn 350 yards of offense. Under 350 yards of offense.
Under.
Oh, man, that's a rough day for the offense again.
And they're gonna find a way to. It's gonna be ugly, but they're gonna find a way. Well, I just don't see it. I haven't seen it.
Over under 15 it carries for Jeremiah Cobb in this one.
If they win, and that's gonna be more ball control, so a little less scoring, maybe not a ton of yards, but a few good drives. I'll go over.
Over or under 5 catches for Cam Coleman.
Under
5 for Cam.
Yeah, man. I need proof of concept. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, we're 6 games in. He's got 24 receptions.
What's the most he's had in one game?
That's a great question. Let's see.
Let's see. I get the game log.
If we hit the game log here, 7 versus Ball State though. He had 7 catches versus UGA as well too for 50 yards. So his best game would have been 3 catches for 88 yards versus Oklahoma.
I think I would say something like that. I got to see it, man. I just need to see it. If I see it, I've seen Jeremiah Cobb get 16 carries and do something with it, right? So I believe that's the best I've seen Auburn's offense look. So,
over or under 3 sacks for the Auburn defense here versus Missouri.
I go over. I see them getting off the snide a little bit this week.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I over or under 150 yards passing for Jackson Arnold.
That's a push.
Push.
I'm gonna say probably 150. I'd say right at 150 passing and probably about like 140 rushing. That'll give you a 290.
Whew, man, it's going to be again. These are really low totals.
Are these the real over-unders?
Yeah, these are our internal over-unders.
Okay.
Yeah. These are our internal over-unders, but these are really low total. I mean, these are low bars. For the offense. So like, I feel like, hey, if you can hit the over on those numbers, you've got a chance. But you've got to finish drives. You've got to protect the football. So just make sure that hey, you're not turning the ball over. You can't give Missouri any help in this one. I think. let me ask you this, and we'll close the show here, talking about kind of the future of Hugh Freeze. Do you think that there is a chance that if they lose on Saturday, no matter what it looks like, that he's fired after the game?
I think it's a chance. 0-4 in the SEC. I've seen Auburn fire Gus Malzahn after a 6-4 season, which would have been 8-4. Too many 8-win seasons is what Gus Malzahn got fired for, basically. In that COVID season, he was 6-4. In any other season, that's it. Going 6-4 in the SEC gets you 8-4 if you add the two weaker opponents that are on your schedule. And they fired him. They will get. I think Gus still getting paid. They will get Hugh Freeze if he. I'm not saying that it will happen, but they don't think Auburn won't. Going 0-4 in the SEC at Auburn. This is 0-4 in the SEC. And I think 0-5. That definitely. I think Coach Freeze would go hand the keys over. Like, all right, bro. So 0-4, it could happen. 0-5. He's gonna go and turn his own headphones in, because you just can't go 0-5 with this type of roster.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really unfortunate conversation to have at this juncture in the season, but it's the one that we have to have here. John Cohen, I think, is in a tough position. This is your hire. The function of the AD at Auburn, hiring and firing football coaches. No AD ever got fired because they hired the wrong tennis coach or even the wrong baseball coach, or I would say, basketball is not getting you hired or fired. It's football. It has always been football. And for the amount of buyouts that Auburn is still paying to previous coaches, it's painful to be in a position where you are potentially paying another buyout to a coach that was, quite frankly, I don't know if any coach has been given more resources over the last 25 years than Hugh Freeze got in the 2.5 years that he's been at Auburn to try to get this done, to build the type of roster that he said that he needed to win with. They went out and they gave you that, right? And then in the offseason, Cohen talked about, when Auburn was kind of behind in recruiting going into the season, Cohen said that he felt like it didn't have anything to do with the results on the field the first 2 years. He said, Mike, it's all money. This is a conversation I had directly with him. He said that Auburn spent a lot of money on player retention versus player acquisition. So they had, a top 10 class that they wanted to keep on campus, and it cost money to do that. And, if they could have enforced the cap the way that they wanted to enforce the cap, Dukes, it would have meant that the days of stacking 3 top 10 classes in a row could be over, because once you hit your cap on dollars, you've got to spend money keeping those guys on campus if they outperform their contracts or whatnot. And Auburn said, look, there was not a single receiver in our wide receiver room we wanted to lose. Not one. And they kept them all, but there was a cost to that, which had an effect on the 2026 recruiting class. So while you're going to get some really good kids in, the numbers may look a little low because we had to spend all this extra money on keeping guys together. So it's interesting to me that, if you're Freeze, they gave you that. They gave you every single dollar you asked for just to keep Cam Coleman on campus. And if he decides to hit the portal, he's going to get top dollar.
For sure.
From anybody still. Like, not a single person thinks that Cam Coleman is a bust at this juncture.
No, he would be. You really could put the number 1 and number 2 receiver in the portal. If Eric Singleton and Cam Coleman were to go to the portal, Eric Singleton was the number 1 receiver in the portal last year. He would still be that guy this year. Right now he's a top 40 selection in the NFL. Depending on what team, he's a top 40 to 45 guy. But top 50 at the most.
But they gave you the resources to go out and get that kind of guy, multiple of them.
Yeah.
So what you're doing with them matters. And I if I'm a money person, we talked about our investment advisor here. Like, I don't know that AIMA, Iannone and Associates, would recommend sinking more money into Auburn football. given the return on investment here to date.
I think it can all change with a big win this weekend. I think a win this weekend will go so far as goodwill, from whether it be from investors, whether it be from the fans who can commit to NIL purchases. Like there's a lot of goodwill that this team not only wants, but I think this team needs a win. You got to think about the guys who were 4 and 5 who came in 2 years ago, who were state champions, who don't know what it feels like to win in Auburn. We got to talk about the recruits in the 26 and the 27 class who, since they've been being recruited as early as the 8th grade, haven't seen Auburn have a winning season. Like this is an important win to try to at least get back to having winning seasons. And this is the crux of the season right here.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get to a couple more comments, and then we're going to go on and get out of here. Stephen Neely says, any loss before Bama is the nail in the coffin for Freeze. It may not happen immediately, but it will definitely happen at the end of the season. Yeah, I just think when the losses happen, maybe will be, it would be 3 straight losses to Bama if they lose this Iron Bowl, right? And one of those, including one of those being like a incredulous 4th and 31. I got to tell you, I was in the press box, Dukes, and I was like, Auburn's about to do it. They're about to pull this off. And so I wanted to be on the field. And by the time I got off the elevator, they were losing. I was like, what happened in 60 seconds?
Man.
I don't understand. Yeah, I think that you can go on, if you go on a run here after Missouri to 8 wins and your 4th loss is the Iron Bowl, there's a good chance that he stays on.
For sure.
Yeah. So I mean, you could. That's enough. I think goodwill here. It starts Saturday. You have to start Saturday.
Yeah, you got to win this one.
Yeah. So definitely increasingly feeling like he's coaching for his job here. Robert comes with the $10 super chat, says, Coach Hugh Freeze says, we keep finding ways to lose, yet some think Coach Hugh Freeze's mindset of defeat is going to magically change. Every day Coach Hugh Freeze is at Auburn, the longer it will take to undo the defeatist mindset he created. Did he create a defeatist mindset?
I'm not sure if he created it, but he oversaw it.
Yeah. At some point, all the losing, right?
Yeah,
it just is what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to players. They're tired of losing them. Believe it.
Yeah, it is. It's tough. It's been tough, I think, for a lot of people here, and the fans deserve better. They have shown up.
Yeah, when's the last time, like, this ain't just Coach Freeze, but this always goes back to Coach Malzahn, but when's the last time Auburn was relevant on a national level in November? $2017, maybe?
Remember, Harsin started 6-2.
But that was like the weakest 6-2 ever.
Remember, they were talking about him at like in the SEC coaches.
Harsin started 6-2? No, he didn't. He did.
That first year he started 6-2.
I gotta see it, bro. I don't remember that. They ended up 6-6.
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull the schedule here. So wait, his first year was 2021, right? Yeah, because we fired Gus.
Yeah.
In 2020. Yeah, so that they beat Akron, Alabama State. They lost to Penn State. Remember 28-20, the Hunter Hurdle.
Yeah,
they beat Georgia State, and TJ Finley pulled that game.
They barely beat them.
Mm-hmm. And then they got the first win in Baton Rouge in like 20 years.
Oh yeah,
at LSU with Bo. He had the amazing play where he tossed it to Fromm, and then they lost to Georgia 34-10, and that was October 9th. They were 4-2 at that point. They beat Arkansas, and then they beat Ole Miss, and they were 6-2 headed into November.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 4 straight losses to end the season after Bo got hurt.
Yeah,
they lost to Mississippi State. They lost to South Carolina. They lost to Alabama in 4 OTs.
And then you let them go to Oregon. That was crazy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, and then they lost to Houston in the Birmingham Bowl.
6-7. Losing record.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they started 6-2. They were 6-2 headed into the November 6th matchup with Texas A&M.
Never
And
recovered.
yeah, we all know. I mean, and then went on an epic losing streak.
And then it followed it up with some of the worst recruiting in Auburn history. Yeah.
So I would say 2021 was the last time that they had any relevance headed into November.
That's it. And then 1 week into November, that relevance was gone.
Yeah, it lasted exactly 3 hours.
Man, I'm telling you, man. So I think Auburn fans deserve better. Like, we want to talk about it at Thanksgiving, right? You know, you want to be relevant around this time. And I think that Auburn fans, the way they pack that stadium out, the way, you know, the tailgate, the environment in Auburn, it keeps like Auburn's game day experience, the way the fans love Auburn, the way they talk about Auburn, the support on YouTube, Auburn Twitter. They give Auburn Twitter a heart. Look at the basketball program and how that was revitalized when you give it a winner. When you give fans a winner, like, we know what Auburn can be. Auburn is really, really special when you're playing competent football. And right now, you just got to get back to that. And I think it can start Saturday.
Yeah, definitely starts Saturday. I will be in the house covering that one live, Dukes. Hopefully, I can catch up with you next week, and we can talk about an Auburn football victory for a change. It's been a few weeks since we've been able to talk about one. Let's go on and get out of here. I want to thank everybody for joining the midweek report. I want to thank Philip Dukes for joining me on today's show. Dukes, before we get out of here, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on social media, Instagram and Twitter at Dukes the Scoop, DUKESTHESCOOP, and my YouTube is also Dukes the Scoop, or you can search the Scoop with Dukes, where I cover Auburn, Colorado, Falcons, UGA. I cover a lot of stuff, but mainly Auburn and Colorado. So a ton of Auburn content where you can just go on that playlist and go see what I got to say.
Guys, do us a favor, subscribe to Dukes everywhere he is at. Support Auburn people. We appreciate him for joining the show. Do us a favor and join as a member. $5.99 a month will get you there for your patron membership. Lots of great stuff, film reviews, exclusive game day chats, all for our members. We appreciate our community for helping us grow our community. I want to thank our title sponsor, The Rage Room. If you're in Opelika or in Birmingham, they've got 2 convenient locations for you. Go on and visit them. When you get to the counter, let them know that the War Rapport has sent you. I want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. Get fresh for the weekend with the Vibe Vault, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. I want to thank our friends at SetsForSociety.ai. The road to knowing self starts at Sets for Society. They have custom personality assessments that let you know more about how you think and how those around you think, and how you guys can best think together to achieve like goals. Visit SetsForSociety.ai to get your custom personality assessment started today. Fill out the form. They'll do the rest. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment. Hit us up on socials. We appreciate everybody by sharing our video at the War Rapport. Use hashtag #GetYourWeight Up. Please hit like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We are growing, just hit 15,000 subscribers. So incredible mark for us here in our 5th year in existence. Dukes, we are highly blessed to be able to do this for a living. We want to continue your continued support by hitting like and subscribe, helping us in the algorithm makes that possible. Check us out on X and Instagram at the War Rapport, TW Rapport on TikTok. We're going to go ahead and get out of here, but we will be back at you guys tomorrow morning with the Auburn Express. We're signing off, and as always, War Eagle.